Live from the Export Beer Garden studio and proudly brought to you by Export Ultra, the beer for here. This is the Agenda podcast for Thursday, the 2nd of May?
Yeah, well done.
The Agenda podcast, the home of sporting nonsense and claptrap. Brought to you by Export Ultra.
Yeah, I'm just not adjusting. 2 days into May. It's like, you know, when the year ticks over and you're still writing the last year whenever you sign something?
I still do that. I still have to check myself whether it's 23. I wrote 25 last week.
You're getting ahead of yourself. I wanted to start on this podcast for something that I found quite disgusting. Quite often on the 7 Sharp program, Jeremy Wells is accused of lowering the tone of the national broadcaster.
Yeah. He talked about finger blasting as people who play the slot machines, pinball machines. He's done all sorts of things. There was a bigger thing about a muff recently and about hot muffs and cold muffs. It was just disgusting.
Well, it's thinly veiled double entendre, and quite frankly, it's disgusting, as you mentioned. But I heard something even more interesting this morning on the Matt and Jerry breakfast show. Have a listen to this.
Right, yeah, so when you're up in space, that was one of the things that blows astronauts away. They're like, can't hear anything, no sound in space, because of course there's no oxygen for the waves to go through, no air for the waves to go through, but it fucking stinks.
Yeah, and the way that they know that it's, excuse me? Did I just swear? Oh my God.
Look,
I can't believe you just said that on this
You
show.
really swore.
It's, you know what, Manaia, it's creeping in more and more in society, and I'm starting to get a bit disgusted. I don't know if you picked it up during your commentary of Super Rugby, but the hot mics on the rugby field, it's fucking disgusting, and I'm sick of it.
Quite frankly, what I heard when I tuned into, the Matt and Jerry show this morning was fucked.
Yeah.
I had 4 kids in the car.
4!
And for those of you keen listeners, you'll know I don't have kids.
Yeah.
So how am I going to explain to those kids' parents why I've got them in the first place, and second of all, what they heard on the radio this morning?
I mean, I've got 3 kids, and I genuinely have 3 kids. Once they heard that, they were all chanting, fucking stinks, fucking stinks, fucking stinks, and then they went outside, they smoked pee, and they did a ram raid on a Michael Hill.
That's right. I saw that. I've seen the footage of it.
Yeah.
This is what's happening, This is what, when Luxton's talking about getting tougher on crime, this is where it starts.
Yeah.
You've got to dam the river a few steps up from where the ram raids are happening, and it's happening on the Matt and Jerry show. We've approached Matt and Jerry for comment. They've declined.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're in crisis meetings. Our studio is actually just off their office, and we could see them in crisis. They're in disarray.
I'm going to have to say this out loud. I've told him, and I've sent him a note. He has been stood down from the ACC until further notice, until there's an investigation into it.
And until he can accept what he's done.
Yeah.
Because he immediately tried to then pin that on Jerry.
I know, and my kids are on P now.
Yeah.
So there we go, because of that.
Until he apologises to the kids.
Yeah. My kids.
Yeah, your kids.
And your 4 kids.
And my 4 kids.
Yeah.
I don't know where they're at. They may be ram raiding too.
Yeah.
We don't know.
And all because of that swear word at 6:30 this morning, okay? And look, it's happening, it's bleeding into sport as well, the Super Rugby. James McConey and I heard some fucking terrible language a few weeks ago. And we had to apologise on behalf of the players. It was fucking horrible.
It is. When you tune in to watch rugby, you crowd around with the family. It brings families together. The last thing you need is for some player to just yell fuck straight into the ref's mic because he's standing right beside him and he's knocked the ball on.
It's disgusting.
It's fucked. Just last year, I dropped one of the laziest F-bombs in broadcasting history on one of the commentaries when I forgot that I was actually commentating a game.
It can often happen.
And it was on like tackle 2 of a Warriors game. And I was like, oh, here comes Adam Pompey. He's bringing the fucking... Oh, sorry. It was a real waste of an F-bomb.
It was. It was a casual one.
Yeah.
So was that, actually, to be honest.
It was.
I mean, he must say that so often that it's just muscle memory. Yeah. That fucking stinks. Hey, can I just say, change the subject, and Export Ultra now are the main sponsor of this Agenda podcast.
Yep.
And we got a delivery yesterday to mark the occasion.
Oh, yeah.
And they sell it. They sell Export Ultra cans now in the 24 slab.
Oh, yeah.
There's just something about the size of a 24 pack that just makes me want to just rip it open and party.
Yeah, it looks like, when you go to like one of those wholesalers and you can buy things in quantities that you never knew you could before.
Yeah.
This is what it feels like. And if you rock up, you jump into a van trip or something like that, you pull up with a 24 of Export Ultra cans.
Yeah.
I mean, that is...
And they're good roadie beers as well.
Tremendous.
Because you're not punching your face with a 6-7%, even a 5% might punch your face in.
Not the season for it, but they're a great golf beer.
Great fishing beer too.
Yep.
I had the pleasure of hanging out with Matt Watson.
Yes.
At the ITM V8s in Taupo. And he told a great yarn. We were talking about beer, and I was talking about Export Ultra, 4%, low carb, and he's like, you know what? That's the only beer that I can drink, and I can't deal with anything more than 4%. And he's worked out an algorithm around how many beers he can take out on a day's fishing.
Oh, right.
And it can only be 4%, because once they go over 4%, he's in a little bit of trouble at 5%. And he goes, I know what I know at 4%. Yeah. And I work it out, and if I've got 6 guys on the boat and we're leaving at 6 in the morning and returning at 8 at night, I can look at that and I can say 15 tins each. And he said that. He said that straight faced. And I went, oh, yeah, of course, 15 tins. I was like, 15 tins? I was like, I suppose that's 1 an hour.
Obviously, we wouldn't encourage that.
No.
Responsibly, only have 1. But if you were going to do something like that, I think the 4%, it's not going to cost you any fish.
No. And that's what he said. And it said the wheels come off. The wheels come off when you're on a day fishing and you're doing anything more than a 4%er.
You lose shape.
You lose shape. And that's what his argument was. It's like you fish to start falling off, you start losing gear.
And this is the thing about the golf beers, is that if you got anything, because someone's always going to want to show up with a 6-pack of Crafties.
Yeah.
Your bag's not keeping that cold. So as soon as that goes up a degree or 2, that thing's basically undrinkable. Whereas Export Ultra, it just holds its shape the whole way around the course.
And it's 4.2 as well. So we're giving you a little bit extra than that 4 as well. So there you go. And also, good to see some Sly White Claw got included in the delivery too.
Yeah.
Which is a real crowd pleaser around the office. We're going to have to lock that away.
Yeah, we are. White Claw, it's massive in the States, White Claw. And I think basically all of those seltzers or whatever that were popping up for the last few years, I think have been trying to mimic White Claw.
Yeah.
Well, now all of a sudden here it is, and we got it.
Oh, yeah.
We got it. And you can get it too at your local whatever shop.
Yeah, well, you can get the slabs of Ultra
Yep.
at Liquorlands and at Countdowns.
Oh, beautiful.
Yep.
Oh, Countdowns. Yeah, tremendous.
Well, Woolworths now, I guess.
Yeah, but probably not in West Auckland or I think in Invercargill because they don't sell piss at the...
Oh, the licensing trust.
Yeah.
Gotta go buy that from the Mafia.
Yeah, you gotta go buy that from the Mafia. Some actual sports. The Marinoirs, they won last night, thus depriving the Phoenix of their first Premiership.
Your minor Premiership?
Well, they call it the Premiership in the A-League, but every other sport calls it the minor Premiership. For all intents and purposes, it is the minor Premiership, and it is not ours. The fucking Marinoirs beat Adelaide, a 2-0 win over Adelaide. God bless them. If they were going to do it, that's the way to do it, because we predicted that they were going to park the bus for a draw.
Yeah.
And then just get up and spray themselves with champagne for having drawn to win the Premiership. But anyway, onwards and upwards, because there's still playoffs yet to come, so we can win the actual thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's just it's a participation prize, that one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Who actually cares about that one? Probably everyone that follows the A-League. And on that note, we were talking about our dear friend Endrick yesterday, the Brazilian footballer, plays for Real Madrid.
Yeah.
And somebody messaged me, and Dylan Wood was his name, with a few more details. He said, "G'day, mate, just listening to today's podcast. We were talking about Endrick's relationship agreement. This is the contract we discussed yesterday." He said he wanted to share a little bit of extra information about it, which he finds even crazier. The dude is 17 years old.
What?
And I believe his girlfriend is like 20. I guess it's a different world being a Brazilian wonder kid, but geez, up the Marinoirs.
17?
Yeah.
And you got a contract with your midi. Surely he's spraying it round. In the contract, it should be, I am a Brazilian wonder kid who's going to be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I will choose to spray it round when and how I like.
And then because part of the agreement was if one of them breaks the rules of the agreement, the other one's allowed to ask for something. So they asked for like an Apple headset. Yeah.
Or
which makes so much more sense now that he's 17.
Totally. I was just thinking that. It was like a bag of airplane lollies or something.
A PlayStation controller, please. It's like,
a new iPhone.
I was thinking the first thing I thought was, this is the wrong kind of contract, because if he's 17, there's a chance that, 3 months ago when they got together, he was actually 16, which is
it's starting to,
low. I mean, shudder to think how old he might have been when they first met. But I feel like there's some sort of other contract that needs to be. But then what I replied back to Dylan was, I guess age of consent doesn't translate into Portuguese.
Yeah.
So maybe they got a whole different situation going on there. I would encourage him to break that contract and give her the flick.
Oh, absolutely. 17 years old. He's about to be worth millions and millions of dollars as a Brazilian football player.
The world's at his feet.
Absolutely.
The kid could be anything, and he's holding himself back.
Yep.
Where's his manager? Was his manager involved in the contract? Did he look over the terms of the contract?
The manager's pulling his hair out as well. I reckon he's just ditch you. Come on.
Does he have the spray it round clause? He must
do. It's in the fine print.
Yeah.
Most professional athletes have that in their fine print, don't they?
And is there a standard issue gift that comes with that? So he's going to be like, look, I am going to spray it around for every single offence. I will give you whatever it is that you want. New Gucci handbags.
Some hair straighteners or something.
Yeah, I'll start stacking the dishwasher properly. Maybe there's some sort of and if I do it with one person, and if I do it with 4 people at the same time, then you get this, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, then I think the contract starts to become null and void because it's just costing him too much. And he just knock the contract on the head, get rid of that contractor and bring in a new one.
The contractor. That's a big red flag for me if I'm looking to sign this kid. What are you up to?
I'd love to see his professional football contract.
Yeah.
That must have some funny shit in it as well.
Every time you miss a shot at goal,
yeah,
you've got to buy us a new PlayStation game.
Yeah, or some lolly snakes every time you miss a tackle.
You're going to go to $2 mix from down the dairy every time you miss a tackle. Yeah, absolutely bizarre. Hey, today we have, I think this is how we're going to do it moving forward. We're going to move the Yours Pleases to just Tuesdays and Thursdays. That does mean that there's a lot of them built up for today. So we're going to have to get to a quick ad break here. We'll be back to talk a bit of Super Rugby and then Yours Please after that. So quick break here. Plenty of rugby news, Lane, of a Thursday. Super Rugby have started naming their teams on a Wednesday night, and I'm actually starting to enjoy that, and we'll get to that in a second. But first, Eben has accused Ireland of arrogance. I love old Eben. I think he's great.
Yeah, and I love the fact he someone cut his hair the night of the for the International IRB Player of the Year Awards. Someone else in the team cut his hair, and it was an absolute abomination.
Yeah, it was the most footy shit of all time. Yeah. It was so funny. But he's just he's a monster, obviously. Quite heavily gang affiliated as well, by all accounts. He comes from quite a proud gang family. The terrifying poo-kind of eyes that he gives dudes when he's about to smash them.
Oh, yeah, didn't he choke some Aussie out?
Yeah, Alan Alatoa, I believe it was. But yeah, and he's come out and said that Ireland were arrogant going in to play the All Blacks. That because everyone had beaten the All Blacks in the year leading up to the World Cup, they thought this was going to be an easy beat, and then basically that's why they lost the game.
Oh, you're saying also that when they lost to Ireland in pool play, that they were shaking hands, and he said, "What? 13 out of the 20 odd players that lined up said we'll see you in the final." To the South Africans, and that's when I think he might have said it kind of raised red flags when he's like, "You guys assuming you're going to beat the All Blacks?
Yeah,
you're going to assume you're going to beat a team that have been dominant in international rugby for 15 years."
Yeah,
and that's when he thought you have massively underestimated. And I think that's when we underestimate the mana that the All Blacks have around the world as well. Like when you got South Africans going. Because we always look at the All Blacks and go, they're playing a bit shit. I'm nervous about them losing to Ireland.
Particularly last year.
Yeah, but then on the other end of the scale, they're like, do never underestimate these mofos at your peril.
And think about the times when we have been knocked out. It's been like South Africa in the final last year. They were fucking up for it.
Yeah.
The time before that, England, their entire lead up to that World Cup was just how to beat the All Blacks.
Yeah, and they blew the final.
Yeah, exactly. But everyone has that circled on their calendar.
Yeah.
And I think he's right, even. I mean, obviously he was because we beat Ireland.
Yeah.
Jeez, only just. But
look, 4 points. We dominated that game. If we'd lost that game to Ireland, it would have been. It's like the final. We deserve to win that final as well.
Yeah.
But I love the smack talk, and I love how you got that smack talk, and I love how Ireland got all upset because they got all high and mighty. Obviously, they were disrespecting the All Blacks with going see in the final, assuming that they were going to. Yeah, and then again, I think Ireland, France, Six Nations game, they put out a thing saying this was the World Cup final everyone wanted to see. It's like, get fucked.
Yeah.
And then they got all high and mighty. Remember when Rieko Ioane shushed the crowd?
Yes, yeah.
And then obviously Retallick told old Marnie 4 more years, you fuckwit.
Yeah, after Marnie told Sam Cane that he was a shit Richie McCaw.
Yeah. Bring it on. I love how why are people getting upset on behalf of the players? This is the kind of shit we need.
100%.
This is the smack talk that fans love. And when a team gets over a team, they want to see the team give them some fucking lip.
Yeah.
It's what all American sports are about. You don't see, like, any NBA games. There's smack talk in NFL games. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, because the NBA a couple of years ago was looking at putting microphones on the court. The court's so small, you could easily microphone the whole court and hear exactly what the players are saying. And they trialled it for a preseason game, and we were like, oh, God, no. we cannot broadcast this.
But it's like even that the Last Dance, you got some of that Michael Jordan just in guys' ears, and then them trying to smack talk him. And
exactly.
Like, that's the shit we love. And I love Retallick. I just love the fact 4 more years, you fuckwit. Like, I love that. Yeah. And the whole shushing, I'll say, but then Ireland get upset about that, and then they go away and think they can talk and go, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys.
Fuck them. I can't wait to beat them again. When do we play them? Do we play them at the end of the year?
Yeah, we do.
We do,
Yeah.
See, this is exactly why this is great, because now I'm looking forward to that game. I've got a reason to give a shit.
Totally. And I want the All Blacks to beat them and then mouth off at them.
Humiliate them.
Yeah. No, not mouth off at them, but just the odd comment that comes out afterwards that's nice and cutting, like that Marnie one.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. I mean, as much as I didn't like that it was against Sam Cane, I actually quite liked that from Peter O'Mahony.
Yeah, it's like,
you're a shit
is it
Richie
O'Mahony?
McCaw. Is it?
O'Mahony? O'Mahony. O'Mahony. It reads Mahoney. It's O'Mahony, eh?
I think so, yeah. But yeah, I quite like that. Just good bit of shit talking. Keep that stuff up. Super Rugby team lists, as I mentioned before, they've come out on the Wednesday. This is the first time that one's really caught my eye, and that is because David Havili, who was brought onto the bench last week for the Crusaders, he has now been brought in to start at 10. And this is interesting because Rob Penney was asked about it. He said, we've talked about it often, just as a coaching group, but it wasn't until the All Blacks confirmed they were really interested to see him playing there that there was a shift in a couple of people's minds to go that way.
Right. I mean, he's a good player. Does that mean that the All Blacks are going around saying, hey, can you stick this guy in this position, this position, this position?
They have for the longest time, and this is quite funny because Razor was always quite anti it. He was like, look, I'm coach of the Crusaders. You're the coach of the All Blacks. I get that you want this, but I am coaching a franchise here, so I won't, I'm going to do whatever's best for the team. I think in this instance, this is best for the team.
Oh, 100%. But I mean, Penny could have taken the glory for it and said, hey, we need to make a change. And he's the best player in the back line and he's capable of playing first 5. I'm sticking him there. Yeah. Instead of going, no, the All Blacks told me to.
If I was Penny, I would have turned around and been like, look, I told Razor, I'm going to play this guy at first 5, and you should seriously consider doing the same for the All Blacks.
Exactly. I mean, that's what Razor would have done.
Yeah.
That's what he would have done if he was captain of the Crusaders. Instead, it seems like he's just rolling over. But it's a good decision because he's their best. Decision. He's their best player.
That's right.
In the back line.
Get him the ball as often as possible. It's my PlayStation game theory. If you were given that roster on your PlayStation game, you'd put him at first 5 because he's your best player.
Yeah.
It wouldn't matter if Artie Savia was your only good player, you put him at first 5. Yeah. Just get him the ball as often as you possibly can. And I think the other thing is he's a big bastard for a first 5. And I've always thought that there's a massive advantage to having a big first 5 because the drawback is always dudes like Damien McKenzie and that where people are just desperate to put a hit on them.
Yeah.
But if you got a bigger first 5, you can't really quite do the same thing.
Well, Owen Farrell's quite a big first 5.
Owen Farrell's a big bastard.
As is Beaver.
Beaver's a big bastard, yeah.
So, there are some around.
Yeah, and there's precedent for it as well. Johnny Wilkinson wasn't a small man. But then I looked up, I was like, how big is he? And I Googled his stats. And he's listed at 6 foot and 88 kilos. What? Was he last measured in primary school?
88. He's not 88
He is not 88 kilos. Damien McKenzie might be 88 kilos.
If he's 6 foot.
He's not 6 foot either. He's taller than that.
Yeah.
I on a good day am 6 foot.
If you were an athlete, would you?
I am an athlete.
Yeah, okay, because you're an athlete.
Yes.
And
5 points in my social basketball team last night.
And say you were going to go on a Weet-Bix card.
Oh yeah.
And they said, can you send us your stats?
Yeah.
Are you over-representing your stats or under? Because if you go under, people go, oh, I'm going to smash that guy. And over, they're going to go, there's a big dude, and then they see you and go, you're not 110 and 6'5".
Yeah. Well, look, I'm 6'1" on Tinder. Is all I can say. Probably under 100 kilos on there as well. First of all, anyone that sees my stats on a Weet-Bix card probably isn't going to play me in a professional match. But this is something that the NBA has struggled with for ages, is players dicking around with their height.
Yeah.
So a lot of dudes who are 7 foot tall don't want to play centre, so they'll list themselves as shorter than that. So there'll be Kevin Garnett was quite clearly like 7'1". Kevin Durant as well, but they don't want to play centre, so they list themselves as shorter. For some reason, LeBron James did it for years as well. He listed himself at 6'8". He's 6'9". They don't weigh them, so we don't know. But I reckon LeBron will be about 120 kilos.
He's a big unit.
He's a big bastard.
Yeah, he'd be great on the side of the scrum.
If I was an up and comer, I would exaggerate my stats.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, about 120, about 6'5".
Yeah.
But if I was established, yeah, I'd
go unders.
I'd go unders, yeah. Like if you're Richie McCaw, you'd be like, I weighed in at 75 kilos.
Hey, getting back to the selections on a Wednesday, one issue I've got with it is we put our team lists together for our commentary. Come Saturday, invariably every team makes 2 or 3 changes.
Oh, yeah, but the producers would be all across that and make sure that they change them so that you've got an accurate team list come kickoff.
True, but that's yet to happen.
Nothing stitches you up more than being in a live commentary, seeing a guy being like, who the hell's that? Look down at your team sheet and it's wrong.
It's not him.
And
like, then you're commentating for ages, and then it's usually McConey, because McConey knows every Super Rugby player and every reserve, and I admittedly don't.
Yeah.
And I'll call the thing, and I was like, it was Xavier Rowe for the Chiefs, and it wasn't Xavier Rowe, it was someone else, and I was like, oh, how you know that? Like, it's on my sheet, it says Xavier Rowe. Anyway,
we had the halfback for the Blues. That's not Sam Knock, but it was listed as Finlay.
Oh, the Deadlands. Go with the
yeah. But it was listed as Finlay Christie, and I was like, that fucking ain't Finlay Christie.
Inati.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is not Finlay Christie. You got Inati and you got Christie the Clown. They're 2 very, very different humans.
Certainly is not Finlay Christie.
One is very sensitive to the sun.
Yeah.
And one is not.
The other one could go diving for a whole day shirtless and be fine.
Yeah.
And then one other thing from the team list yesterday, and this one was miraculous. Cameron Suafoa, who just 1 month ago came out and told the media that he had been undergoing, I think, chemo, if not radiation therapy for cancer.
Yeah.
And that he'd be stepping away from the game for a while. He just got named again at lock.
Oh,
he's back.
Good shit.
This is powerful stuff from Cameron. That will really rally the troops, you'd have to think.
Yeah. Is that for the Blues?
That's for the Blues, yeah.
Oh, nice.
So, they just started doing it this year, I think, the team list Wednesday thing.
That's good, because it gives something to talk about.
Yeah, it does.
Especially us.
Selfishly. And just finally on the sporting front, Kirk Penney is to be inducted into the FIBA Hall of Fame. He's the second New Zealander to be inducted into the International Basketball Hall of Fame. Do you want to have a stab at who the first one was?
Pedo Cameron?
Yes, it was. And he was like, I think he went to more FIBA World Championships than anyone else. I think he went to 4.
So it's FIBA related, so you've got to represent your country in the tournaments. It's nothing to do with your professional career.
I'm not entirely sure how that works.
Because you got Sean Marks. Is it Sean Marks?
Sean Marks, yeah. He was the first Kiwi in the NBA, but he didn't really set the world on fire as a player.
Well, neither did Kirk Penney in the NBA.
No, not in the NBA, but in FIBA he did.
Yeah. Okay, so it's mainly based around the FIBA and sanctioned tournaments.
Yeah. Okay. But that team, the 02-04 sort of era where they had all those guys, your Dylan Bouchers, your Pero Camerons.
I saw that replayed on. Was I with you when it got replayed on Sky? That FIBA. No, I was with my son, and he goes, "What is this?" And I said, "You need to watch this.
Yeah.
This is the Tall Blacks versus China, and Yao Ming was playing."
Yeah.
And he was like,
Pero Cameron's guarding it.
Yes, and he was like, "Is that Yao Ming?" And I said, "It is." And this is New Zealand, and he's like, "We're winning." And we had that amazing third quarter, I think, because we were losing at halftime. The footage looks like someone has shot it on a handy cam.
Yes,
the haka was hilarious because the Chinese completely ignored it.
Yeah,
and they just did free throws and layups. And
Ed Books at half court at 7 feet tall doing a haka.
Yeah, and my son could not believe that Yao Ming was playing against New Zealand, and we beat them. And I was telling him, this is a country with billions, and this is when basketball wasn't even that big in New Zealand as it is now. And he loved it. It was awesome. And it was like the Kirk Penneys. And
the Reefton kid.
Yeah, and who was the coach? The coach was
Tab Baldwin.
Tab Baldwin. Yeah, And we got it. I think we came fourth.
We came fourth. We lost the third, fourth playoff to Germany.
Yeah.
And I interviewed Dirk Nowitzki last year, a year before, and I hit him up about it. Yeah, dear friend of mine, Dirk, and I hit him up, and I was just like, mate, the fuck was that about? That meant nothing to you. You won an NBA championship.
Yeah.
This is all we had, and you knocked us out. You took a bronze medal off us.
Bastard.
Fucking bastard, yeah.
But that was legendary. It's gone down in history.
Oh, well, I was your son's age when that was happening. And so it blew my mind. It's why I love basketball, I think. So I was watching just our dudes. Pierre Cameron, we talk about dudes listed at the wrong height. I reckon he's about 6'4", and he is defending 7-footers. Like, he was our centre that tournament.
He's marking Yao Ming.
He's marking Yao. The advantage he had is he's about 150 kilos.
Oh, yeah. Great screen. He's not moving.
He came through the office a while ago, and he might be the biggest human being I've ever seen in real life. And again, you don't block shots with your forehead, so it didn't matter how tall he was. It was about ticker. He was named to the all-tournament team that year as well. But yeah, Kirk Penney, second Kiwi ever to be inducted into the FIBA Hall of Fame. Now, we've got a mountain of yours pleases to get through. So quick ad break. We'll be back with yours please.
Yours please. Brought to you by Leader, home of the lasagna topper.
Callers on the line. Listener, yours please.
Hey fellas, sitting on the bike, listen to the gender. Fuck Teal, bring back Budge.
Yeah. Oh, good man. You know what I love about that most of it was the tuies in the background there. At the start of that?
I think he sent a couple in because I've heard the birds.
Yeah, it must be out West Auckland, something, mate, Titarangi or something. But I agree with him.
I agree with him too, but the fact that he is in such an idyllic setting with the birds in the background, that you could tell the air was crisp and fresh. To be that pissed off, that's a genuine emotion that he's feeling about the teal.
I agree.
It's a tough colour to wear.
I agree. It's a tribute to nothing. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. Another one here. Caller yours, please.
Is there a G Lane curse reverse? Old mate wants him to go support the Central Coast Mariners. Could it backfire and they win? And he's cursed the Phoenix. Something to ponder.
Okay. Okay, I can see what you're doing there. Now I'm being blamed for the Phoenix losing the Premiership, am I?
Well, where were you last night?
Can't say.
Were you?
Well, I was watching it. Does that count?
Yeah. From the stands?
No. I was not watching from the stands. Okay.
That doesn't count.
Yeah. But I can see this is something that's just going to haunt me forever.
We need to lift the curse somehow. Another caller here. Yours, please.
Just following up on the Bay of Plenty Warrior supporter looking for a name, how about Gatewar, as in the suburb Gate Park in Tauranga? Thanks. See you later.
The Gatewars. Yeah, I don't mind that, but I mean, Gate Par's a very small part of Bay of Plenty, Tauranga. Yeah. We forgot about that, haven't we? We didn't have a brain steam, did we? Have a few beers and try and come up with a name for the supporters group from Tauranga that faithfully jump on the motorway and head to Auckland for the home games.
Yeah, like is there something in Bay of Plenty?
They've got to go over the Kaimais.
Yeah, Kaimais, like Bopwars, the big Bopwars.
The big Bopwars. The big Bopwars is good.
What they should do is just wheel Hori Bop out and bring him up to the Warriors games.
That would be good. The second version of Hori Bop, the first version, he passed away.
R.I.P. Yeah. But could the Mount Smart Joker get Hori Bop some tickets? And
I reckon.
And old Possum with the chainsaw as well?
Yeah, look, the Mount Smart Joker should just get all of the real mascots. I'm not talking the fucking dressed up stupid ones. I'm talking like the real, like the chainsaw possum guy from Waikato, the Hori Bop, those real ones, and just get them into Mount Smart and just create some sort of weird real life mascot orgy.
Yeah, Roger Shuivasa Sheik.
Yeah.
The dude that was shaking the tree in Lautoka. Get him over as well. Yeah.
Oh, there's the guy down in Dunedin. Have you seen him? He hypes up the zoo.
Oh,
and he gets
like
his kid off.
No,
he doesn't. No, he's a DJ. He's just got a microphone and he's in a little box. And he's got like the sloppiest rig ever. He does not give a shit. Gets his shirt off at half time and just parties. So it's good. It's good time. Get him up.
Get him up as well. We should have a mascots round.
Yeah. Are they mascots? They're kind of not really.
Ambassadors?
Yeah, because Hori Bop's been banned.
Really?
Yeah, well, they don't like him on the sideline. They said he's like, in fact, he might be a bit hammered most of the time. But he can't go on the field anymore and write the crowd out because he's not a sanctioned fucking mascot that's dressed up with a paper mache fucking head on.
Can we get the horse that Ma'anonu rode around for East Coast, Ngāti East Coast in Heartland? All right, another caller here. Yours, please.
Yeah, g'day, Manaia 12 Stewart. Jake here from Mid Canterbury.
Oh, God.
What is the best post-footy feed you've ever had at the club rooms around New Zealand? Yours, please. Also, make sure you get on the bus trip from Hines to Huranui next week. The agenda is expected to participate and supply a few ultras. Would be great. Fuck South Canterbury.
Well, he always finishes with that, doesn't he?
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's aggressive. That's how we express affection in the South Island.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Fair enough. And so your best post-match feed?
We had, when I played at university, they had there was like a second, like a, I don't know how to describe it. It was a shop that sold food that had been supplied to fast food chains, but it was like rejects.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like misshapen patties and things like that. And so they had all the like the offcuts from Subway and KFC and shit.
Yeah.
And our hostel used to serve it up. So not technically a club, but after we'd play rugby, come back and you get like all these, you could basically make your own sandwich or burger or whatever you want out of just all these bizarrely shaped patties and shit. To be honest, other than that, the feeds after a rugby game aren't great. They taste good because of what you've just been through.
Yeah.
And because it's cold.
Yeah.
And the beers often help. But I imagine you would have had some good feeds in your day.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, it's always good when you go near play a coastal team and you get a bit of kaimoana.
Oh, yeah.
That's always quite good, but it gets scoffed pretty quick. I must admit, our North Shore Rugby Club serve up some pretty good smash burgers to away teams
really? Yeah.
when they come. And then, because the North Shore's, the North Harbour Rugby Union takes in Helensville, Coomew, all the way up to Warkworth.
Oh, shit.
So when poor people from Warkworth and Helensville have to play a home game against North Shore, that's in like over an hour.
Yeah.
And they add another half an hour on Lake Road. So especially for the junior teams, where the idea is every time they come, the junior teams provide a plate. And it's great. That's good value because it's basically chit-chats, toffee pops, Tim Tams, mallow puffs, and the kids, it's like they're like held back, and then they just go, these are like 8, 9-year-old kids, and they're blah, 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 and it's just gone. But that's the highlight of their game, was like, what, did you enjoy your game? Yeah, man. I had 4 mallow puffs.
At the game? I can't remember. I have no idea.
It's not what it's about.
I honestly couldn't remember an actual thing that I ate.
No, I can't quite remember, but I do remember a few of them.
Other than the offcuts.
Yeah.
Another caller here. Yours, please.
Oh, good morning, Manaia and G Lane. Just following up the bus trip Hines to Colvin on 11th of May.
A lot of groundswell.
We've got 2 seats reserved for you fellas, so hopefully we'll see you there. We'll pick you up from Raywood Fresh just outside the airport there about 11:30 a.m.
I know it.
Yes,
sharp. Hey, if all correspondence could come through, yours please. That'd be great, thanks. Hey, has anyone ever found love via yours please? Just asking for a mate. Cheer, bye.
Well, look, it's a channel and a platform which is yours, listeners and audience. So if you want to find love on here, then send through. Mate, I mean, you've only got 30 seconds. So basically it's a sales pitch, isn't it? Yeah. So if you want to sell yourself, 30 seconds, go for it. We'll play it out. Maybe at the end of it, throw your handle on, your social media handle, if anyone wants to slide into your DMs.
Well, I think you have to register with a phone number or an email address, so we've got your details, so we can potentially pass them on. But maybe some sort of social media handle. I think this is a great initiative. If we can help someone find love out there, you know, particularly rural communities, it might be hard to find people that you're not related to.
Well, you seem to have tapped a rich vein of South Canterbury rugby. I mean, 11th of May, what's that, next Saturday?
That is next Saturday.
So we need to get to Christchurch. We need to get to Raywood Fresh.
Raywood Fresh is right beside the airport.
Yeah, so I know. I'm familiar with it. Yeah. So we have to get there. What time? 11:45, did he say?
11:45. So there's probably an early morning flight. We get there. Then we're not coming back on Saturday, so that's a Sunday. Tough sell to the missus.
Oh, yeah. Where are you going to Christchurch for? Some regional rugby on a bus trip?
Going to see my mum.
I mean, I'm up for it. If I can make it work, I'm there. But anyway.
Another call here. Yours, please.
Hey, fellas. Just watching Chasing the Sun, the Springboks doco.
Why would you do
trying to get over the fact they beat us in the World Cup. Just trying to become a better human being.
Okay.
But anyway, thought that came to my head. Should the Black Caps do the haka? I mean, would it scare the opposition?
Look, I'm glad he answered my question. I was like, why would you do that? I'm trying to make himself a better human. He's a better human than me. Watching a bunch of Saffers chasing the sun and a big, nice, happy story of them winning the World Cup.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, this question's been asked a bit around why the Black Caps don't do a haka. Yeah. There's no real history.
History in that.
And no Māoris as well. But, I mean, look, you could question that the Tall Blacks.
Yeah,
Peter Cameron is about the. I mean, I'm sure there's others like Hinare and stuff like that, but
it doesn't suit. It doesn't suit the game.
No, and also they're not. It's. I don't know. Maybe basketball is a physical sport, even though it's non-contact. It's very physical. Cricket, there is no physical intimidation unless you're a fast bowler, and your intimidation as a fast bowler is I can kill you with a 150-kilometre-hour ball.
Yeah,
not ripping a pukana and saying I'm going to rip your throat out.
You've just got to think about how it's going to play out, because think about when the teams walk out onto the field. It's so quiet that you can hear like individual people clapping, and so they're going to then stand out in the middle. If you've ever been to a cricket match, it is very quiet. Yeah. You could yell out to a guy across the field, and he would hear you. So that in the middle of that silence, someone's going to fire up a haka in the middle of that. Also, I also think it's the body shape of the players that it doesn't lend themselves. You know, Tim Southey's legs go up all the way to his neck.
Yeah. Imagine Vittori doing a...
Will O'Rourke, you know. Stephen Fleming.
It's not saying I don't want to see it. I want to see it. I saw Kyle Mills rip one out in Pakistan, and that was one of the most amusing things I've seen in a while. What I would really enjoy is, you know how when the anthems happen, if you're batting first, the first three batsmen all have their pads on?
Oh, so they're doing a haka with the pads on.
So that would be even better. But they could use the bat as like a taiaha, you know. But look, it's not going to happen. But I just think there's no real heritage there around. There's been hardly any Māori players.
I also think that I kind of feel like basketball probably shouldn't do it. It's just it's the same situation. You're inside a room. It's quite a small room.
Yeah.
A haka on the hardwood looks weird.
Does the hockey team do it?
I think I've seen the hockey team do it. Because
they could use... I'm a big fan of using, you know, props. They could all use their sticks.
Yeah.
And one on the front could do the full... Yeah. You know, get right in their faces with the stick and say, I can smash your head. I'm going to cave your head in with this stick.
Yeah. I think the one that should do it, though, that I can't understand why they don't, is Super Rugby. Every New Zealand franchise should have their own haka. And
they have got one.
The game. I know, but they don't do them.
They only do them when they win, or they do them to farewell a player, don't they? Or honour a player.
But they should do them before each game, because I feel like don't the Drua do their thing. And
do they do it before every game?
I don't know about before every game, but I've definitely seen them.
Every schoolboy game
has it.
Yeah.
And every All Blacks game has it. So why do we cut out that little bit in between? I think that'd be gangster doing a haka before each Super Rugby game.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Another caller here. Yours, please.
Oh, okay. Let's say Stephen Lagoon here. Hey, Ben Sears, new nickname. I think it should be called The Edge. What do you reckon?
Good as good. I mean, no, look, I love where people record the Yours Pleases. We had beautiful tuis in the background. The car is a good one. And good to hear someone from the Goon sending us one from the shitter.
It sounded like he's in the showers at Auschwitz. I am all in on this one. This is a reference to the fact that every news article on Tuesday when they announced the T20 World Cup said that Ben Sears had been edged by, was it Adam Milne?
Matt Henry, yeah.
Yeah, Matt Henry has edged Ben Sears.
Yeah. I love it when
he can't play,
mainstream media kind of completely disregard, don't know any kind of urban dictionary type things and do stuff like that.
Like when they called Chad Townsend the salty shark cum cowboy.
Yeah.
Which is one of the greatest.
But I reckon at least at one point a sub-editor looked at it and went, that's good. I'm going to let that slide.
Yeah.
But the person who actually wrote it did not have a clue.
They have to have.
Yeah.
There's no other way. There was a horrific story that was posted in a newspaper that was something to do with a person who'd lost their baby before it was born.
Oh.
And the headline was Womb Raider. And we got called into an all-office meeting. Do you remember this?
Yes, I do.
Some like editor had to stand up and be like, it's absolutely disgusting that we let a headline like Womb Raider get through. And I think it was me, you, and Joe Jury down the back. He's like,
what was?
Yeah. She's like, that's not funny. That's not funny. I was like, oh, come on. You can't tell me that you got through how many meetings before it got to the sign-off and not one of you went, oh, Womb Raider. Anyway.
It's good, though.
It was good.
Yeah.
Great wordplay. One last caller. Yours, please.
Yeah, g'day, fellas. This is Mike Rowwave here. Hey, G Lane, you absolute wounder. You punisher.
Yep.
How can you forget us winning the World Test Championship? The first ever. We won the Mace. Yeah, it's been a pretty tough summer as a Black Caps fan, so it's important to remember the times we've done well. Anyway, I just thought I'd correct you on that one. Cheers, guys. Bye.
Yeah, thanks, Microwave.
What was that in reference
No, it was in reference to, we were talking about the World Cup and how we haven't got any silverware. I was referencing white ball cricket. And we've only won the Champions Trophy because we were talking about there used to be a Champions Trophy every 4 years in between the World Cup cycles, and rugby are doing the same. But of course, the World Test Champion. We won the Mace. We won the first Mace. That's right behind me there. No one cares about whoever wins it from here on in because we won it first.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right. I did. But I was subconsciously only thinking about white ball cricket, short form cricket.
Had the white ball in mind when discussing that. But
I apologise.
Thank you for holding us accountable and keeping us honest right there. That'll do it for today, the Thursday episode of The Agenda. Tomorrow we've got another episode of The Agenda as always, but we also have the ACC Sportsbook, which is where we get a guy on from the TAB. It'll probably be Carl tomorrow. Yep. And we got a bunch of random stats, some odds, some fixtures, some tips as well. Yep. Make sure that you bring a pen with you if you're going to listen to that podcast. That'll be out tomorrow after the Agenda podcast. So we'll see you then.
Also, I was going to say that check out the new TAB app.
Oh, yeah.
And their back end is all changed.
Yeah.
Looks very familiar. It's easier to run. It's clearer. I've had a pretty good experience with it so far. So
go and have a dig around the back end.
Especially the multis. The multis are way easier the multi builders are way easier to use.
Yes, they are.
Yep.
I agree with you. That doesn't make my betting any better.
But it makes the experience.
It makes it easier. And that's important. All right, we'll see you tomorrow for another episode of the Agenda Podcast.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda Podcast, brought to you by Export Ultra. For more episodes, like and follow on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.